Welcome to the Omi Show, where we bring you authentic insight into the world of finance, pop culture, tech, and business news. Today's guest is Cheron Porter, who is the co-founder of AQ Partners, a pioneering coaching company that specializes in providing support, guidance, and encouragement to help their clients take specific actions that align with their goals. Together, Cheron, along with her co-founder, Tasha Howard, have designed a unique coaching experience that fosters success and growth while ensuring that their clients remain focused and intentional without getting distracted from their objectives. As accountability coaches, they act as independent observers. I love that. Independent observers, providing unbiased viewpoints to help clients approach challenges with clarity and efficacy. I can't wait for her to share her insight. And I don't know, she might start coaching me while I'm trying to interview her. But also, I want to bring to the show my co-host, Gayle Danley, who I've been knowing for at least 10 years now, is the most amazing person I've ever met. She is a former national and international poetry slam champion. Recently, she joined the Kennedy Center's roster of master teaching artists, providing high-level arts integration workshops for language arts educators. Welcome to the Omi Show, Cheron Porter and Gayle Danley.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
We need like a big, we got to get some sound effects because we need like a big round of applause right there to like really bring it in. How y'all doing? How y'all feeling? Right. There you go. There you go. There you go. Thank you. Thank you.
I'm feeling fantastic. Thank you for having me, Omi.
All right. So we're going to jump into a few topics today, but our first question always, Cheron,
okay,
is you could be doing anything in the world. You could be selling the 7 C's. You could be climbing Mount Everest. Okay. You could be, I don't know, open up your own boutique in Africa. Why did you decide to launch a coaching business?
Ooh, that's a good question. And I'm going to say that I live by to whom much is given, much is required. And so I have been blessed from a very early age of having great mentorships and women who poured into me. And because they poured into me, I was able to evolve, I think, into a woman that I happen to love. And so it has always been a passion of mine to pour into women, particularly young girls of color, women of color. And it has just kind of been my guiding force my entire life. Okay. I feel like I'm overly blessed. And if I can bless somebody else, that's my job to do.
And you could do that in any job though. You could take on being a manager of some company. You could like start a nonprofit. You could be a community builder. I think coaching is a very unique skill set. How does one even become a coach? Like, did you go a specific route, or did you and your co-founder say, you know what, we gonna coach some people? Right. Like, how does that work? How did it come to be?
So interestingly enough, we both came to it from different avenues. So my partner, Tasha Howland, she is a certified life coach, right? She is a certified project manager. So she's really good with that. My background is in crisis communications. And so I really, what I do in my other life is I advise the C-suite folks on how to get through crisis, how to manage their different stakeholders. And when you do that in very sensitive situations, you are the coach, right? You've got all these team members, you got all these factors that are going on. I have to keep them all straight. I got to tell them, you move here, you don't move there, you move here, stay out the way. Here comes the sharks. I got you, and I get them to the other side. And and then so it just sort of matched naturally when we came together. But I'll also say, really, we started out as accountability partners to ourselves. We were just a couple of Black women who were well-educated, who didn't know as much as we should have known, at least we thought, about money. And so we said, well, how about this, right? Because we felt kind of odd and weird if we would go out and talk about something and talk about money with people. And they were like, oh, you don't know what that means? You don't know what that means? Oh, man, but you were smarter than that. So we created a safe space, right? And we did it with a couple of women, and ultimately it became us. And so we created this safe space where we could teach each other stuff. And then Tasha, being the brilliant person that she is, said, You know what? I want to be held accountable in other areas. I want to be a better mom. I want to have better relationships. I want to come out of debt. I want to, we were both saying that. Let me say that. And there were just things that we had to do, and we helped each other. We created an accountability relationship. So if I was out with anyone, they knew at 8:15 I had an accountability call, and I had to jump on, and folks were like, well, what is that? And I'm like, we create a plan, and she holds me accountable and I hold her accountable every day. And then we started achieving our goals. And then it was like, well, people were like, how can I get that? And that's how we began.
So I am wondering, when you talk about the C-suite and you talk about these different places where you coach, how are you able to infuse those relationships with that Black woman syrup?
Well, I can only enter the room as a Black woman. So I come with the syrup, whether they like it or not. And so what I do is I bring my natural self. And I have, just because of my history and my career and my training, I'm just very I can see, I'm looking at the entire landscape of stuff. And I'm looking at the pitfalls, and I'm looking at how to help my clients through the pitfalls, to avoid them, to kind of see how they might be creating barriers for themselves, and to create a plan that's workable based on their strengths and their time. And that's what Tasha and I do.
Okay. In equal measure, or is she more the that and you're more the that in the
You know
partnership?
what? We are great complements to one another, right? So she is certainly strategic and analytical. I come with maybe the insight sometimes in places, and the communication to help you feel it without and feel good about what you're doing. We are a yin and yang match. Difficult. I just have difficulty talking about myself in that way, but we do very well. And the reaction has been quite extraordinary when we do it together. We're coaching together, and we've had like coaching groups, and we've done it with Black women, and we've done it with all kinds of folks. But when they all end up in tears, because we really help them get to why they want to do what they want to do, right? Because we all say we want to do something, but as Black women, what we also know is that we put mama first. We go and we're gonna help out at the church. We're gonna help out at the school.
Yeah.
We're gonna help our little cousin. Because they mother, father not doing right. We will put everything on our back. And so we kind of we need to come to the table and help each other, but we see it and we understand. So the other thing, to your point, Gayle, Tosh and I have, while we're very much a lot alike, we also lead two very different lives. Tasha is a mother, a wife of three. Well, not a wife of three, a mother of three.
I was going to say, hey, hold on. Oh, that's a different discussion.
She is a wife and mother of three, and she's got a child with special needs. I am single without children, and I'm living my absolute best life, right? And so we come to it through very different things. And so I'm often amazed at how she's handling what she's handling, and she's often amazed at how I'm doing what I'm doing. But we come together and we lift each other up, and that's what we do with our clients. Like, we understand, right? When you say, I don't know how I can do it, I got this and that. I'm like, oh, listen, I got a sister right here who got 3 kids, one with special needs, a husband, a career. No, we get it done, and we can help you get it done.
Nice.
Yeah.
Let's talk about co-founders, right? Because I think a lot of there are many stats that talk about like over 70% of Black women-owned companies start alone, and typically are that way for the majority of the maturation of the business. What has the co-founding journey been like? So did y'all like know each other from high school? Did you meet in college? Like, and then how the accountability part I get, but the idea to start a business together. So like, you could be I can have accountability buddy, but that don't mean we about to start a business together. So
right.
At what point did you say this is the person that I would like to go into business with?
So it's interesting. So we are very entrepreneurial separately, right? So we had that natural energy. And I would also, and we met while we were both serving in the Baltimore Urban League. We were volunteers giving back to our community. So we were very like-minded. We didn't really know each other, but we kind of traveled in the same circle. So we weren't friends. And so, and quite frankly, when we started this accountability, I was talking to a couple of girlfriends, and she, being the woman that she is, she says, she heard us talking. She's like, I'm in that too. So I'm gonna be in this group with y'all. And that's very much her attitude. And it's an amazing spirit, because nothing stops her. And so what happened was, we had been accountability partners for 8-9 years before even becoming a business. It was just helping us in our own lives. Right. And so, and as you all know, like when you have a business partner, it's a marriage, right? So we had already been married, so to speak, for a while, because when you become accountability partners, you are entering a certain level of intimacy where you have to say, these are my real fears, right? Like, this is what I want to do, and I got to say it out loud, because that person has to hold me accountable, and like, to make sure that fear doesn't get in my way. So we end up becoming friends as a result of accountability partners. So it's an interesting journey. We were volunteers to accountability partners to friends and accountability partners to business owner and accountability partners. So we we have a commitment to ourselves and our clients.
What's the downside to that journey? Like when you look back on it, you went from here and then you got there to friendship and then you got there. Are there steps in that journey that you might have changed now that you got that looking back view on the whole thing?
No. It's been an organic journey, because we didn't become accountability partners to go into business. We did it to improve our lives. We did it to come out of debt. We did it to have better personal relationships. We did it so that we can have a better relationship with our higher power, right? That's why we did it. And as a result of doing it, other women wanted our support in doing the same. And so there's no downside for us to that, right? And so we continue to hold each other accountable. And I know that I will go further and farther because I have someone going through that journey with me.
Yeah. So it really is a marriage.
It really is. And that's not to say, that her husband isn't a good partner to her at all. That's not to say that at all. But we also understand one person can't be everything to you. Right. And they are just sometimes, and I'm not speaking of her, but I'm speaking to anyone, right? Sometimes maybe your best friend isn't the best accountability partner for you, maybe because they know too much, right? And maybe because they have their own stuff. So when we came at this, we really came at this as two people who were saying, I want to do better. I'm going to hold you better. You're going to hold me to better. And whatever we say between us is between us, and we're going to push each other higher.
I like that. I like that. All right. So at what point in your life do you recognize, like, there's a person that you recognize that they need you, right? So like, what is that trigger point of like, oh my goodness, I need an accountability coach versus like, oh, I just need to use my calendar better. Or like, oh, let me just, make sure I organize. I need to I think so many people spend time before they get the coach and just like, oh, it's me. I just need to do a thing. If I could just do this thing, it'll be fine. That's just what my problem is. I need to stop doing this. I need to start doing this. So at what point is it like, hey, cut it? You need to call a coach.
Well, the first thing is it's not working. Because that we all have that goal that we wanted to do. And then as time goes on, it's still further and further and further in the rearview mirror. And we never actually get to it. And so like one of our clients, I'll talk about it, and you could just be overwhelmed. She is a mom, a wife, and she's caring for aging parents, and she's caring for their finances. And her father is really ailing, and she's trying to make sure that her mother is financially secure. At the same time, she had a daughter who was going off getting prepared for college, and she wasn't sure that she had spent enough time with her daughter, making sure that she was prepared to be a woman in this world. She came to us and she said, you know what I really want to do? I said, what do you really want to do? I really want to create a rites of passage program for my daughter and for girls her age. And I want to make sure that if my father passes away, God forbid, that my mother is taken care of. We created a plan. We worked with her. She just didn't know where to begin. Like, she was like, I just got so much stuff. I'm going to doctor's appointments. I got to go to work. I got a husband. I'm running people to dance class. I don't even know where to begin. And I'm here to say she created a rites of passage program for her daughter and probably about 12 of the daughters, 12 girls, I should say. She built a stronger relationship with her daughter. She felt more comfortable with her going off to college. She was able to pay off her mother's house. She was able to get all those finances in order. And we helped her do it, crazily enough, within about 6 months.
Is that crazy? I mean,
That is 6 months to get all that done, to get that house paid off, to develop the curriculum, to get the girls, to do a whole program, and that was amazing.
Okay.
And to do everything else, right? I mean, because life didn't stop lifing. She continued to have to life. So yeah, that was great. And she's so happy about it.
Do you ever get into a point where somebody wants you to coach them on this thing, on W, but you looking around in their lives and you like, no, we need to be talking about X. X is the monster.
Well, depending on what their goal is, right? If X is the monster, then what we do is we go through a series of exercises, right, to help you get to your why, right? And then we talk about what do they think has been holding them back. Now, and if we see that there's something else holding them back that they're not being fully honest with themselves about, we sort of bring that into the conversation. Like, let's talk about that. Let's talk about how that's showing up. We walk in with no judgment, right? And so everyone has their journey to go on. Now, we're going to show you a picture of the monster, and we're going to keep showing it to you till you recognize, oh, that's the monster. But we're not going to beat you over the head because it's your journey.
Okay.
Some people want to be beat over the head in a way, not from a physical abuse standpoint. We do not condone it on the Omi Show, but you know, they're like just stubborn. You know, and I think that's the thing about being coached and being coachable.
Absolutely.
Are there people that you have to turn down? Yeah, are there people you have to be like, you know what? Get somebody else to do it.
I can't work with you.
Right.
Well, I mean, here's what we say. We like to give all the opportunity and all the options. And then we will also come to a point, to your point, if someone's not willing to be coachable, right? Because they don't want to break some of the habits that are clearly that they have even identified as being stumbling blocks. If you don't want to change a habit, or if you don't want to commit to the plan that you want for your life, I certainly can't make you do it. Tasha can't make you do it. It's what you want for your life. And one of the first things that we do to try to help people and try to sort of minimize that happening is getting to the real reason why you want to do it, the why. You think you know the why, but we really kind of take you down. And we've had someone who said, oh, I want to retire. I want to start this business because I want to show, I want to be an example to my daughter. By the time we were done, she wanted to do a mental health sort of situation. By the time we were done, the real reason why she wanted to do it is because her mother had suffered from mental health. And she was ashamed as a child because no one talked to her about it. Ooh. And the fear that she felt as a child. And then she had a best friend who also died with some mental health challenges. And she doesn't want any other child to feel that way because of the stigma that her mother couldn't address. So that was the real reason. So when you get to that reason, then you're empowered in a very different way.
I love that. We're going to come back and talk more about getting to the why. So I would say, Cheron, you mentioned some stats about accountability.
Yeah.
Tell us, could you share with us?
Sure. Yeah. You had asked earlier, and it's a great point. Like, listen, someone could say, listen, all I need to do is be better about my time. But the reality is, studies show that you are 95% more likely to achieve your goal if you have an accountability partner. because it's about that social contract that you have, right? At that check-in point, when that person knows that you're coming in and you said you're going to do this and you don't do it, you're going to do whatever you can to get it done, right? That there's a social contract. And listen, 95% more likely for your dreams to come true. Who don't want those odds?
Yeah.
Right? And that's what Tasha and I do. We're here to help birth your dreams. Right? We know that you all have doulas on here. We're here to be the doula of your dreams and make those things happen because you can. And we're here just to help you create that plan in your lifestyle. And that's what we want to see for all. I mean, we focus on women, but we're here to help anyone do that.
One of the things I want to touch on before you go, though, is about you don't have to dig into your costs, but I want to overall talk about like the cost of coaching. One of the things that I always say is the ROI on clarity is confidence, and so when you're more clear, you can be a lot more confident in what you're going to do, who you are, where you want to go. But what are some of your suggestions around like finding a coach, evaluating costs, and figuring out if it's right for you?
One, before you commit to anything, you need to meet the person and see what their approach is, because their approach may not be the same as your approach. You need to see how often will you all meet. You want to hear what they've done, right? Because what have they done? What is their track record? What have they been through themselves, right? For me, that's what has been helpful. And then when it comes down to cost, does it work for your pocket? If it doesn't work for your pocket, it doesn't work for your pocket. And also, how bad do you want it? How bad do you need the help that you need? What is it worth to you? I mean, these are all the questions you have to ask yourself. What is it worth to you? And do you think that person is capable of getting it for you and helping you get there?
There was this famous writer, Janet. Oh man, it's this white woman. She's done this whole series of books about like getting your money shit together. And her name's escaping me. Anyway, she talks about in her first book how she came across this coaching program. She was broke. She was living in somebody's garage in California, and it was $100,000. And she did it. She mortgaged, she begged, she stood on the corner, and she did it. And it changed her entire existence. And I think like when we hear stories like that, like people actually putting more than just skin in the game, but like forehead in the game, nose in the game, and it actually turning them into more than the person that they ever thought they could be. I just say, sign me up.
I mean, working with us, the AQ partners, we are your cheerleaders, right? We are the cheerleader for you and your life and your dreams. And we're not going to stop until we help you get to your dreams. And
love that.
What is that worth to you?
Thank you so much, Cheron. I really appreciate you for joining us for the show.
Thank you,
my co-host for today, Gayle Danley. I really appreciate all this conversation. It's been great. It's been beautiful. And just like kicking it, you know, I mean, like Cheron, we just met today and you were super cool. You are now an Omi homie. Welcome to the fold.
Yes, I am.